What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy, testing negative for the viruses, and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Saturday edition of the Virus Update for Saturday, August 23rd, 2025. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily virus update on all those viruses that can make us sick. We're currently in the middle of a COVID surge here in the United States, and other viruses are causing problems as well. Want to stay informed of what's going on with all these viruses? Just do so by subscribing down below. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, leave your comments down below, and if you want to support the channel and the work I do here, you can become a Patreon member, or there are other ways listed down below. Alrighty, we do have a few news stories to take a look at today. Kind of stopped searching for the news stories early today. There actually is a list of things that I search. You can't see. Well, maybe you can. There's actually a list of things I type in. I don't type in all of it daily, but I do type in a lot of things, and that's how I find the news stories for these videos. So we got some news stories, some data from CJS, and emergency department visits. Should be about a 20-minute video today is my figuring. All right, starting off with this. Japan is seeing an increase in COVID cases. In fact, it is now the 9th straight week. You know, I find it kind of odd. We're seeing an update on what's going on with COVID cases there, but for whatever reason, we're not hearing anything more about the whooping cough issue that is also going on there. I really don't understand it. The health ministry reported 22,288 new COVID-19 cases for the week to August 17th, marking the 9th consecutive 7-day period of increase. This translates into an average of 6.3 cases of the novel coronavirus per designated medical institution. So, yeah, things continue to go up here, but the same period in 2024, the numbers actually were higher. You're going to see again later somewhere else where they said their numbers used to be higher. Taiwan's life expectancy in 2024 is still short of the pre-COVID peak. So, yeah, Taiwan's average life expectancy edged a little bit higher in 2024 to 80.77 years, but was still not back to its pre-COVID-19 peak of 81.32 years set in 2020, the Ministry of Interior said Saturday. So get this, for men, it looks like the average life expectancy in 2024 was 77.42 years. Women, well, a bit higher, 84.30 years. So yes, it has gone up, and life expectancy, that's a good thing to see that going back up. Dennis, the COVID info guy now on Western Australia. Weekly COVID update, week ending August 17th, 2025. The COVID positivity rate was 3.8%. PCR COVID cases, yeah, this is going up, 263. That's actually up by 10.9%. Hospitalizations decreased to an average of 86 per day, or down by 4.4%. ICU number, 7-day average, decreased to 2 to 33.3%. But, mind you, with hospitalizations decreasing and COVID cases going up, we could potentially see hospitalizations go up there once again. As we know, a rise in cases usually comes before we see any rise in hospitalization. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. And of course, he will keep us informed of that. All right, Health Canada, this is the Canada now, the country, has approved an updated COVID-19 vaccination for the fall. So if you live in Canada and you so should choose to get an updated vaccine, you now can pretty soon, because they just approved it, and eventually probably an updated booster of some sort will be available in your local place that you can get, doctor's office, pharmacy, wherever. All right, here in my state of Pennsylvania, Geisinger, this is a well-known medical company in north central Pennsylvania. They operate several hospitals. Of course, they have the big Geisinger Medical Center in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a well-known northern central Pennsylvania healthcare system. And they're saying their COVID-19 infections are on the rise. but there is, quote, no need to panic. But they do mention a few interesting things. And someone who was an infectious disease doctor since 1992 and with Geisinger since 2018 says, I can remember when Geisinger would have 1,000 new cases a week. Yikes, that would overwhelm their system. And we're now down to around 10 to 20 cases detected. However, I got to show you something here. He mentions these guys, at-home testing. He said, adding that there are many cases that go unreported due to the use of at-home tests. And what he does not add here, and I would add it too, this is probably even bigger than these at-home tests, is people just simply think, oh, it's not COVID, it's something else. Screw that, COVID's BS, blah, blah, blah. They don't bother to test at all. Yeah, I would think that's a bigger problem than these at-home tests, but both really are an issue, and is why the numbers, when we look at the numbers during a wave, they look low, and then when we see wastewater, it says, oh, wait a second, wastewater said cases should be higher. Yeah, at-home testing, people not testing, we're really flying blind when it comes to what's going on with COVID. He also adds they are currently dealing with flu, RSV, and a few other things, and COVID is among those, but certainly isn't the majority, he said. Interesting that the other viruses are floating around as well. At least he's saying that he is seeing that. All right. Rider with measles may have exposed others on New Jersey trains. Yikes. Here's when they traveled. We're not going to read all these exposure points. It's in northern New Jersey. He went on some of the light rail lines. He may have crossed over into New York City. Yeah. Just another measles exposure. We've seen dozens of these this summer. And this year, I should say, because it really started before the summertime. But, yep, just another measles exposure point. There will be a thread today, or a post on my site with today's news stories. And I will also add this to my website where I post the measles, the measles tracking thread. Quick note about the website. We may be making a change on the website. Can I actually pull up the website? Yes, here it is right here. You know how we have a bunch of tracking threads? And we really do. We have a sports illness tracking thread. There's an international sports illness tracking thread. There's a measles tracking thread. I believe there's a TB one. I've actually lost count of how many there are. The point is, I think I might be making a dedicated little section. See how we have all these different sections where you click on a section and it's going to show all the tracking threads. Right now they're in there where they should be, like measles is in the measles section. Sports illness is in the illness section. Musicians, list of performers. That's in celebrity health news. I think I may put all these tracking threads into one place. That way you can find them easily. Right now it's so jumbled you just can't find them all. I don't know. It's a thought that's going around in my head. Speaking of sports, though, illness, the Marlins. Otto Lopez is out again today. He's dealing with an illness. I thought I read yesterday it's some sort of a stomach bug that he's dealing with, but I don't know. I can't confirm that. But again, the Marlins, this is a baseball player, is out due to illness. I also have seen several other sports-related illnesses listed today. Yeah, they're running rampant right now as we come near the end of summer, and I suspect we're just going to continue to see illnesses, not just in the United States, really all around the world. All right, let's take a look here. Don't need to show you the website again. Canada. Wastewater viral activity level of COVID is low. Flu A is low. Flu B is low. RSV is also listed at low. Let's take a look at what's going on with the air qualities. And I can tell you right now, the air qualities are really good here in the Northeast. The sky is really that dark, deep blue color. That is good news. A little bit of yellow back off to the west. And, we do have some big problems out on the west coast. We're starting to see some reds. Purples are starting to show up in Washington, portions of Idaho, Oregon, California. Yeah, air qualities are not good on the west. We're also seeing Wyoming having problems. Colorado still dealing with some problems. Wildfires, that is the cause of problems. We really need a rainstorm on the west coast. We need a good soaking rain to get that ground saturated and wet once again to help with those problems. Some minor issues along the Gulf Coast and across portions of the Central Plains when it comes to breathing problems today. Taking a look at Florida, we see just a couple sick person calls for Pinellas County, Florida, and we do see a few other things ongoing there. Not terribly busy right now. Philadelphia yesterday had 820 EMS incidents. And taking a look at this right now, live, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, at 2:21 p.m. We see there's a total of 15 EMS calls, and we do not see respiratory emergency listed. That's a good thing. Taking a look at what's going on in Chester County, Pennsylvania. Now you're seeing this list is long. There's a reason for it. Some of the fall sports activities are starting to, it's that time of the year. They start up now. So you see this EMS ST. I believe that means EMS standby. And we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the calls being for that. But we also do see sick person, respiratory difficulty, allergic reaction to some hypotension, and some other things. So there are calls going on, but this list is a little bit longer because of emergency EMS standby. All right, Bucks County, Pennsylvania has been busy today. You saw I looked at it earlier. It was 11. Still 7 calls there. Respiratory distress is showing up. Yeah, and a few other things. Let's see how the hospitals are faring out in Pennsylvania today. Just a few hospitals dealing with problems. 2 in the Lehigh Valley, 2 in southeast Pennsylvania. Hey, the 2 hospitals in the Pocono Mountains, East Stroudsburg and Mount Pocono area, are in the green today. That's good news because, yet again, it is packed up there, but there is a university up there. It is moving weekend at colleges all over the place. So that could lead to COVID spread because, crowded conditions, moving into the dorms, those orientations, the meetings, all that type stuff. New Jersey today, take a look at this. Green all across the board at the hospital. That is some fantastic news. Here's the update from New York State yesterday. 523 new positive cases. And taking a look at what is going on with the hospitalizations there, this is for COVID, 381 and 51 people in the ICU. When we do our weekly recap tomorrow, which will also include wastewater, we'll take a look at the various different regions. Was going to do that today. I figured, let's save that for tomorrow. We're also not going to take a look at wastewater scan today. We'll do that tomorrow as well. All right, let's take a look at emergency department visits diagnosed with COVID-19 in the United States across all ages. These are people showing up to the hospital diagnosed with COVID. And you can see here that overall nationally, United States, it is continuing to rise at this time. And some states have really gotten bad. Alabama's one of them. Alabama, you're approaching 2% now of your emergency department visits are for COVID. Alaska, you've been creeping upward, but you went down on the most recent update. Now it's around 1%. Arizona's continuing to go higher. Arkansas is not only going higher. Look how fast Arkansas is going up. California, you're getting up there near that 2% level. Colorado's still going up. Connecticut's going up. Well, it was going up in Connecticut. It's leveled off a little bit. Delaware, that's continuing to rise. Washington, D.C. has slowed off a little bit. Florida, it had peaked, but look at Florida. Bad news there. You're starting to go back up again. I assume that could be in relation to back to school. Georgia's continuing to go up. Guam is dropping. And real quick, Florida once again. If that is in relation to back to school, that just shows us what lies ahead for the rest of the United States. Hawaii. I have to pause here. Hawaii. Almost 4% of your emergency department visits are for someone diagnosed with COVID. That's ridiculous. That's really bad. You're almost higher than last year at this time. Idaho, still going upward. Illinois, slowing off a little bit. Indiana's still going up. Iowa is going up. Kansas is going up. Kentucky's going up. Louisiana, you're over 2%. You're almost about to hit 3%. Yikes, that's not good. Maine is starting to go up a little bit faster. Maryland is going up. Massachusetts has dropped slightly. We'll have to see how long that lasts. Michigan has paused a little bit. Mississippi, wow, you have skyrocketed. You're over 2% at this point. Montana's going up slightly. Nebraska is continuing to go up. Nevada is going up. New Hampshire, you slowed off a little bit. New Jersey's still going up. New Mexico is going up. New York has slowed off a little bit. We'll see for how long. Back to school's coming soon for you, too. North Carolina is going up. North Dakota has slowed off a little bit. Ohio is going up. Oregon has slowed off. Pennsylvania, you're going up slightly. Rhode Island has paused a little bit. South Carolina is quickly going up. You're fast approaching that 2% mark. South Dakota's not bad. Tennessee, you're still going up. A little pause at the end. We'll have to see if that remains. Texas is still going up. Texas is really bad. You're going to see some bad numbers from CJS in relation to him in just a little bit. Utah is still going up. Vermont has dropped a little bit. Virginia, that's still going up. Washington, state of Washington is going up. West Virginia is starting to go up faster. And Wisconsin, yeah, you're still going up slightly. Alrighty, let's get to some data now from CJS. We have a lot here to read. I think this video is going to go a little bit longer than expected. Alright, starting off here with Thursday's numbers. And I think before we do that, let's pause and take a hydration break, shall we? Juice is the drink of choice today. Alrighty, doesn't that feel much better? First up comes Florida. These are daily numbers from his Thursday report. His report for Thursday. Florida, 2,550 new cases and 20 new deaths. Yeah, that's a big one-day number. New York, 596 new cases. Puerto Rico, 1,098 new cases. Weekly numbers from Thursday. Arizona, 2,249 new cases, 125 CDC reported hospitalizations, and 5 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Colorado, 258 new positive tests, a test case positivity rate of 11.68%, up from 10.35% last week, and 3 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Connecticut, 474 new cases. Hawaii is not doing good. Hawaii, 697 new cases, a test case positivity rate of 15.1%, down from what was posted 2 weeks ago, a number that was revised down from 18.2% to 16.3%, but up from 13.5% last week, and 3 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. And in case you already forgot, Hawaii's emergency department visits diagnosed with COVID are just rapidly going up. Indiana, 1,090 new cases and 104 CDC reported hospitalizations, and 2 new deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Kentucky, 1,112 new cases and 5 deaths reported. Massachusetts, 128 CDC reported hospitalizations and 7 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Massachusetts has been in a reporting blackout for state reported viral info, including wastewater information, since the beginning of July. Minnesota, 614 new cases and 13 new deaths. New Jersey, 1,124 new cases, 188 CDC reported hospitalizations, and 11 deaths. New Mexico, 527 new cases and 1 death. North Carolina, 371 hospital visits for COVID-like illness. The CDC reported 259 related hospitalizations in North Carolina and 8 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Now for his Friday numbers. Florida. All right. Sit down if you live in Florida. These are some bad numbers. Florida, 1,883 new cases and 23 new deaths reported on Friday, one of which was from 2022. Here's your weekly total. 13,916 cases, including that Tuesday case dump, and 88 deaths, all but 2 of which were from the most recent week. So, yeah, you're still doing a lot of deaths during a COVID wave. Reported over the past 7 days to go along with 1,245 CDC reported hospitalizations. Yeah, Florida's bad. New York, 529 new cases reported today, and 3,431 cases reported over the past 7 days to go along with 404 CDC reported hospitalizations and another 16 deaths. Puerto Rico, 1,056 new cases reported and 6,259 cases and 14 deaths over the past 7 days. All Puerto Rico deaths for this week were reported on Wednesday, as well as 82 CDC reported hospitalizations, just over half of what was reported a week ago. So there may be delayed numbers posted by the CDC next week. All right, Alabama, these are weekly numbers now. 143 CDC reported hospitalizations and 3 deaths. California, hope you're sitting down for this number. 8,443 new positive tests, a 15.64% increase over last week, a test case positivity rate of 12.4%, up from 11.33% last week, and 1,176 CDC reported hospitalizations, a 17% increase over last week, and 28 state reported deaths. When I say I hope you're sitting down for these numbers, factor this in. This does not include all those people that don't get tested or those at-home tests. So the fact we're even seeing numbers this high in 2025, yeah, it's not a good thing. Same goes for these hospitalizations. Georgia, 293 CDC reported hospitalizations and 6 deaths reported by CDC's data tracker. Idaho, 363 emergency department visits and 1 death. Illinois, a test case positivity rate of 5.2%, 187 CDC reported hospitalizations and 4 deaths for you. Louisiana is still really bad, 15.9% test case positivity rate. He goes with up like a bullet from 13% last week. 1,254 emergency department visits and 142 CDC reported hospitalizations and 2 new state reported deaths. That's actually not bad. You only had 2 deaths, but yet that many emergency department visits. Hopefully you will peak soon. I feel like last year was starting to peak at this time in Louisiana. Back to school, back to school, back to school. Yeah, it's extending things in some of these states that should start peaking very soon, hopefully. Ohio, 151 CDC reported hospitalizations, 7 deaths reported by the CDC. Oklahoma, a statewide test case positivity rate of 10.9%, down from 11.3% last week, with Tulsa and Northeast Oklahoma both seeing major decreases in positivity rate, but the test case positivity rate around Oklahoma City jumped to 18.3% this week, and 5 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Pennsylvania, 317 CDC reported hospitalizations and 5 deaths. South Carolina, 145 CDC reported hospitalizations and 2 deaths. Tennessee, 113 CDC reported hospitalizations and 5 deaths. Texas, here we go, this is bad. 5,182 new cases, a 23.85% increase over the last week. 869 CDC reported hospitalizations, a 14.95% increase over last week, and another 25 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Apologies for my camera blocking some of this. Washington, 159 CDC reported hospitalizations. This is the state of Washington. 844 emergency department visits and 9 new deaths. West Virginia, 322 new positive tests and 1 death reported by the CDC. Wisconsin, 395 new positive tests, a test case positivity rate of 8.1%, up from 6.7% last week, and 1 death reported by the CDC. The CDC reports a national test case positivity rate of 9.9%, up from 8.9% last week. 7,739 nationally reported hospitalizations. That's up pretty big from 6,694 last week, an increase of 15.61%, and the CDC data tracker added another 235 deaths since last week and now shows 1,231,146 total deaths since this all started. And I must add that I think the wild card for this summer wave is, will the national hospitalizations hit 10,000? We're going to be peaking in a few weeks, but you know what? It is definitely possible. And the fact that we're seeing the increase get faster, that tells me we're getting closer to the peak. That seems to be what happens, but we'll have to see. We do have Labor Day weekend next weekend, back to school, so we're still going to have a few more weeks. Probably by mid-September, the national should have peaked. It may differ a little bit in, your state, county, city, local community. Everywhere is going to be different, but eventually, I think on the national level, we're going to see a peak within the next 3-4 weeks at the most. Hopefully, I'm not wrong and it extends longer, but right now I'm not seeing another variant, though, be it we're flying blind with the variants right now. I'm not seeing something that would take it longer. Alrighty, folks, this was a very long video today. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, leave your comments down below. Ways to support the channel are listed down below. I will see you tomorrow for our weekly vlog where, you'll join me for a cup of coffee and we will go over what we learned throughout the week. We'll take a look at some dashboards and we'll take a look at COVID in wastewater. Until I see you again tomorrow, stay safe, everyone. Have a fantastic Saturday afternoon, and thanks for watching.